All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting for July 6th. Attendance has been taken. Thank you all for being here today. Appreciate it I think we were a change date here, so I appreciate that for being here for today. So we're all set with that. First on the agenda is an approval of the minutes from the June 1st, 2021 meeting. Could I have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Right, move Sandra, Supervisor Winnie, second Supervisor O'Connor. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, carried. All right, first item on our agenda is a resolution request authorizing a contract with Titan Roofing for repairs to the correctional facility roof for an amount of $69,900, and the work has already been completed. So we'll have Tom Speziale give us an update and let us know what's going on.
Hello. So back in March, the jail requested that we repair some low roof areas. There's a number of them around the perimeter of the jail that were over some cells that had been badly leaking. They needed the space. So we had intended upon doing it getting proposals and doing it under emergency conditions using a facilities maintenance agreement. However, purchasing advised us that we really should go out to bid on the project. So we did that. We wrote the specs, put it out to bid. It was the low bidder was Titan Roofing. We had 3 bids. I prepared a contract. They signed it. They sent it back with their insurance certificates, and they proceeded with the work. I neglected to remember that we actually had to have a resolution in place because it wasn't in their capital plan. We did verify, of course, that they had the money to pay for it out of their budget. So the work's been done. The contract now sits at the attorney's office and needs a counter signature from the chairman, but we need a resolution to authorize execution. So
you happy with the work?
Yes, we haven't closed out the project yet. We haven't actually even paid them, of course, because the contract's not in place. So my mistake being so trying to get this done quickly, but it's been done, and it did solve the leak problems in those areas.
I'll make the motion.
All right. All right. Moved by Supervisor Tolleson, seconded by Supervisor Lant. Any discussion on the motion? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Matter carries. Thank you. All right. So just 2 other short items for today's meeting. Just wanted to give a quick update on the airport grant process that we've been going through. At the last meeting, if you recall, we talked about the fact that there was a upstate revitalization and airport infrastructure grant out of the governor's office. As a committee, we informally said that we should have the county go ahead and pursue that grant. So as we get ready to do that, get ready to start putting together our proposal for the process, we felt that we felt it would be important to have a grant subcommittee of supervisors to review anything that comes across on the issue before we go out in September, which is when the grant is due for an application. So I've asked a couple of other supervisors to join me in a subcommittee. The first is Supervisor Winnie from our committee here today, and the second is Supervisor Barrett. I felt that it was important that we have the Economic Development Committee at the table for this, as any new terminal building or new facility at the airport really lends itself both to buildings and grounds because it's located on airport property, but also to economic development as it's a new kind of welcoming place for people to come to Saratoga County, and there's a lot of opportunity there for I guess, if you will, showcasing our county and things like that. And I think economic development should have a seat at the table. So Supervisor Winnie has accepted, and so has Supervisor Barrett. So just wanted to make that announcement today. Anybody have any questions on that? Myself, Barrett, and Winnie. All right, thank you. And then the last item on the agenda, just as another quick discussion item. There's been a few things that have come up over the last couple of months regarding county space needs. basically, I think it was more or less prompted by the Commissioner of Elections, who came up to me after one of the board meetings and said that their space is, number one, too small for them. Number two, with the early voting that's going on, and we just had our early voting period for the primary. It's not a very good ADA compliant space. There's some issues with that. It's difficult for people to find when they get to the building, and it's not in a really accessible spot to the public. And now with, again, early voting happening, a lot more of the public are coming into that location. So started thinking about that, and I was trying to figure out a way to, maybe find an alternative place for them, some other better spot for them that's more accessible, easier to get to, easier to find within the county, and talked to our county administrator about that, tried to see if we could talk about that. But when I talked to him, he came up with a few other departments that either, we're hiring a new person, there's not a desk for them, there's not enough space. They're not in a very accessible spot. We need to figure out where they should go. If we trade one department with another, what is the impact on that? So as he started to discuss that, I was thinking to myself, well, this is a much bigger project than just one department. It seems to be more of a county-wide issue with our space. We're kind of bursting at the seams. We're a growing county, so the more and more that we, grow, the more and more people are going to want services, the more staff we're going to need, the more space we're going to need. So at the end of the day, talked with Commissioner Cook about this, as well as the county administrator, and we've decided that we'd like to start a space needs project, I guess, if you will, at the county, to just evaluate our space, see what we have, see what the opportunities are to, whether it's build additions on buildings, shifts work around to make more accommodating space, to kind of just evaluate all of that. And of course, when we talked about that, we said, well, we have a fine buildings and grounds crew here at the county, and we have a fine buildings and grounds department at the county, but we're really not equipped to do an overall comprehensive look at our space needs and make recommendations back to the committee and the board for that. So when I talked to Commissioner Cook about it, he was open to potentially submitting or issuing a request for quotes from various companies to see if we could figure out how much it might cost the county, because we really don't know, what this kind of study entails and what the potential cost might be for it. So I have asked him to take a look at that, start investigating into looking into an RFQ, just to see if we can get some ideas as to what it might take for us to do this study. And then, of course, once you get that done, you have to figure out the other side of it, which is rearranging and maybe even constructing space. So this morning I asked Supervisor Lant and Supervisor Tollison if they would join me in a subcommittee for this as well. They both accepted. So the three of us will kind of start to engage the county administrator, the Commissioner of Public Works, and start looking at, where we go from here on that. But I think it's really something that the county needs to do. I mean, I don't know how many folks have been around the county, but as I've gone department to department, it's definitely getting to the point where we're kind of running out of space on things. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but I'm happy to have you.
Yeah, I mean, I've had multiple department heads approach me saying that they need more space. They are looking, for different reasons. And as Matt said, we're just in a situation where there's not much, if any, space in some of our buildings. And this complex was designed, I think it was built in the 60s maybe, which was fine, but we've been the fastest growing county in New York State for the last 10 years, and our growth has really been significant. And even though we run a very lean and mean county workforce, and there are numbers to back that up, we are growing, and there is some challenges. So another big thing that we're looking at through the Government Review Subcommittee is our records management piece. We have file cabinets all over the place, probably hundreds, if not over 1,000 file cabinets. And we're looking to consolidate in a way that makes sense. That's another big project that hopefully will free up some space as well. If we can get rid of half those file cabinets, if not more, that's more space for us. So I think it's a good combining those two efforts I think it makes a lot of sense. And we got to look at it more than just this year or next year. We really need a plan for 10 years, 15, 20 years. If we're going to invest this money, if the board decides to do that or a study, we really need to take a longer view and see, all right, where do we want to be 15, 20 years from now? What kind of space requirements are we going to need? So I think the only way to do that is through a consultant, quite honestly, because our staff just doesn't have the time or really the expertise to do something like that. So I would support this.
All right. Thank you, County Administrator. Anybody have any other comments on this? I mean, I would say to you, I agree with you that, I'm not sure exactly when this building was built. I know that this room, the boardroom here, is an addition to that, that original building. And the services building out on West High Street may have been the last major construction. Tom might know more about this than I do from Buildings and Grounds, but that might have been the last major construction that we did. And that building is, mid-90s. So, not that I'm all about build, but at the end of the day, the last time we kind of expanded our operation here and made some extra space was quite some time ago. So I think it's time to just look at that, at least as an initial thing. So I'll open it to the floor if anybody has any other comments at all from the committee.
Like a good idea to solve, right?
Yeah, good idea
Supervisor
to
O'Connor.
get, a independent outfit to take a look and come up with ideas that, we might not have thought about. So it sounds good to me. I'm in favor of it.
Great. All right, thank you. So, all right, anybody have anything else for the committee for today? Any other business? All right, 11 minutes. Motion to adjourn. So second, all in favor? Aye, we're adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a good day.